Hello and welcome to Split by Split, Jedi Fallen Order Any Percent Edition. This is a series dedicated to the analysis of a certain speedrun with the ultimate goal of creating a decent tutorial for each individual split within the run. Now for those of you new to speedrunning, a split is essentially a section of the game, in which multiple sections then make up the entire speedrun. The reason splits are used is so that runners can better track their times throughout a game so that they know where they need to improve or how far behind or ahead they are at any given moment in a run. This Split by Split is all about Respawn's latest game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game I currently run and hold second place in for the Any% category. Today's episode is all about the basics. We will go over general knowledge as well as some basic movement techniques that will be used throughout the run. So let's get into it. To start out, the Any% run of the game is done on story mode, the easiest mode the game has to offer. The reason for this is simply because it's faster. You regen force while in combat, enemies are much easier to kill, and you take little to no damage from enemy attacks, so this all makes the run much faster. Next up is system requirements. I personally think a PC setup that can at least run the game at 60 FPS is required. The reason being a specific trick in the game called target lock jumps that are much easier to perform at 60 FPS or higher. The more frames you have, the less strict the timing of the trick is, and as the trick is used all over the run countless times, I would strongly recommend only playing on setups that can handle 60 FPS. Now TLJs can be done on less optimal settings as well as on console, but I would say a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X would be preferred if you are going the console route, and the trick is considerably more difficult to pull off when you run the game at lower FPS. Next up, controls. I play on controller, specifically a PS4 controller. Keyboard and mouse is possible, and some runners do it, but I think controller is better because of the more precise 360 movement you can get out of an analog stick. But again, keyboard and mouse is very much a possibility here. With this all out of the way, let's actually start talking about the game, and more specifically, player movement. Alright, let's talk some Jedi Fallen Order movement. So this is Cal, this is walking, and this is sprinting. Pretty basic stuff. There is nothing too exciting about that until we add in this move. This is a dash strike in the skill tree. It is the second move you learn right after overhead slash. There's also improved dash strike, which we'll get to in a second, but dash strike is the first thing you're going to want to know about. The reason this is important is because this alone isn't that great, obviously, but you can cancel the ending slash by blocking. You can then chain it together to dash around, and on top of this you can also cancel dash strikes with dash strikes. So if you get the timing down right, you can do this. If you look at my controller input, you'll notice that I'm releasing dash strike kind of late. I'm doing it when his feet retouch the ground. I'm pressing triangle again, or F if you're on keyboard and mouse, or Y if you're on Xbox. But basically just dash strike. It's all about rhythm for canceling with dash strikes. It's really just about practicing. I find the Zepho landing pad to be a great place to practice this stuff. So you have your running, you have dash strikes that are canceled with a block. So right after the dash strike, you just hold block, cancel it every time. And then the last and most advanced movement is dash striking to cancel your dash strikes. And even I screw this up sometimes, because it is quite difficult to get the timing down on this. It is the fastest way to move around with normal dash strike. This being second. Your block cancels after a dash strike are also fast, but not quite as fast as just canceling with the dash, obviously. And then your third and final form of movement is improved dash strike. So from Bracca to Bogano, we'll usually just be sprinting. Some runners are starting to pick up dash strike on Bogano, which is a possibility, in which case you will have dash strike 1. And you usually have dash strike 1, well usually, you always have dash strike 1 until you get push in the first tomb on Zepho, which unlocks the ability to buy improved dash strike, which we will grab now. Improved dash strike is your main movement throughout the rest of the game. So once you beat Zepho 1, or once you beat the tomb on Zepho 1, you will buy improved dash strike, and that will be your main source of movement throughout the entire game. Shall grab it here and mess around with it out here. Now, everything I just said about dash strikes applies to improved dash strikes. So you can cancel with a block, and I'm pretty sure you can cancel it with another dash strike. It's just harder with improved because the timing is a lot different. Let's see if I can get one. Maybe not. Regardless, you always want to just block cancel. So this is the main form of movement. After Zepho 1 tomb, you simply block, and the second the block animation comes out, you start dashing. And this allows you to cover the most ground horizontally the quickest. So once you have improved dash strike, this is basically the only way you move around as Cal for the rest of the game. There are some more precise stuff that you have to do sprinting for, and when you run out of force and you're in combat with stormtroopers or whatever the hell, you will have to do some sprinting. But as long as you have force to dash strike, dash striking is the fastest way to get around. So that's pretty much it for horizontal movement. You can also do something called falling dash strikes. Not sure if I can show it off of that. I need a taller box. Maybe this. But basically you start falling and then immediately input a dash strike. This is used in a couple of tricks and a couple of places to speed things up just a little bit. It's not that important of tech, but you will see it in spots throughout the run, and you will have to learn how to do it. It's not that hard. You can't stand on these, but I bet you I can stand on this. You simply start running at something, fall off. The second you fall off, you dash strike, and you will do what's called a falling dash strike, which is exactly as it's described. If you don't get it, you can't dash strike off of stuff. So if you don't get it, you'll do this. But if you do get it, you'll do that. That's a falling dash strike. That is also important. And then that's definitely it for horizontal movement, unless I'm forgetting something major. I don't think I am, though. Next up for movement is vertical movement, which is basically entirely handled by something called target lock jump. So you have your jump. You can also have double jump, which is later on in the game. I won't show that because it's literally just a second jump. And I don't want to get a save file that shows it, because I don't have one right now. But jumping is pretty standard. You also have a ledge grab, which I don't think there's anywhere I can show that. Maybe here? No, we don't ledge grab boxes here. But you can grab ledges in this game. Most ledges will work. Usually ledges are marked with like white paint. Like you can't jump onto the side of these rocks and get one, because you will just die. But most things that look like ledges tend to act like ledges. And then after that, for any serious speedrunning techniques, the most vertical you can get is with a TLJ, target lock jump. And it's that right there. So when you jump and then hold block, you get like a little boost. So I'm holding jump and holding block. When I say little boost, I mean gigantic boost. As you can see, you get very high very quickly. Now if I can get one of these guys to kill themselves. That can happen sometimes when a stormtrooper who shoots you while you're target lock jumping. Because of the parry timing being so easy on story mode, you'll actually end up killing the stormtrooper while trying to target lock jump. So we solved that by using any of your force powers. This was discovered like less than 72 hours ago from me recording this video. You can use slow to target lock jump. You don't even need the force either. You can do slow. You can do push. And you can also do pull. I don't have it right now, but it works. Basically, any of the 4 back buttons on your controller. And then you can target lock jump. You just press jump once, press force once, press jump once, press block once. You can see that blocking tends to kill the stormtrooper you are target lock jumping off of, which is a problem sometimes. There are specific moments in the run that I will mention where you want to use the force instead of the block because it's safer and you won't, because you don't want to kill the stormtrooper. Specifically the Bracca train, or there's a specific TLJ on Kashyyyk 2 where that comes in handy. These guys you can definitely just use block because they don't shoot back, because they are melee boys. So you can use the block or the force. Does not matter either way. And this becomes very useful because you can now start to skip things in the game. Target lock jump makes a lot of out of bounds possible. It makes a lot of skips possible. You can jump up here and basically skip the entire village section by doing that. And this is the main vertical movement in the game. So for horizontal you have dash strike, and for vertical you have TLJs, which I can actually lock onto this guy. Oh, down I go. Oh, I guess that would be another specific thing to mention here. You have to be stationary to do it. You cannot jump in any direction and get it. You have to be completely standing still. The second the target lock starts, though, you can move around. So you have to be stationary when it starts. And the second you start going, you can move around, which will also be helpful later on in different parts of the run. I'll try and explain that in the other splits, but I just wanted to get this video out of the way so that all of the basic stuff is kind of figured out. And because people have been requesting a TLJ video forever, and now we have it. And that's pretty much it for movement. That is about all you're going to do with Cal. You've got these balance beams, and then you've got... Let's see if I can find a ledge. Oh yeah, I just used these ledges. This is what I meant by ledge grabs being pretty easy to spot. They kind of mark them in this game. And that's pretty much it. That is your basic movement with target lock jump and dash strikes in order. That's all of those things that I just mentioned in the last 10 minutes, whatever it was, are incredibly useful throughout the entire run. You will be using them for all 3.5 hours, undoubtedly. And that's going to do it for the prologue, the basics of Jedi Fallen Order. Next video is Bracca, where some of this stuff will begin to come in handy. So make sure you watch this video first, and then start moving through the splits. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on Bracca. Adios.